Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of the connection, and then it's out of the frame here, but I also have an advice deck that I'll be pulling from to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what does not. All right, Libra, let's jump on your side of this connection. You have dream come true with the 10 of Cups in reverse. I feel as if when you met this person, I feel like it felt like a dream come true. I feel like you felt as if you had finally found your person. And the 10 of Cups in reverse is kind of a card to me of expectations. And I feel like you had really high expectations for this connection. And I feel like those expectations have consistently fell out of reach. You know, the dream come true energy seems to be something that you haven't been able to quite grasp onto when it comes to this connection. Like, it always feels very out of reach. Now, this person has a wild card with the 7 of Cups. I feel like this person is a bit of a wild card. You don't really know what you're going to get, how they're going to act, what they're going to do. Like, are they going to be there? Are they going to show up? Are they going to ghost me? Are they going to communicate? Or whatever the case might be. And the 7 of Cups is this energy of this person not really knowing what they want. And what I mean by that is not necessarily do I want Libra, do I not want Libra, but more so do I want to settle down? Do I want to commit? Do I know how to commit? Like, even if you've been with this person for a really long time, or even if you're married to this person, I feel like this is very much this wishy-washy, can never make a decision and stick to that decision, commit to that decision. And I feel like that causes their energy to be very sporadic and I don't know, unpredictable, I guess is a good word for that. But sometimes when we're dealing with people who are unpredictable for a long enough time, their unpredictability actually starts to become predictable. You're like, they're probably going to ghost me, or they're probably going to walk away from this conversation, or this is probably how they're going to react, because it's almost like you get so used to the chaos. And I'm not saying that has happened, but that could very well be the case for you. Now, in between this connection, this was interesting. You have contract with the 2 of Wands in reverse. So you and this person, before, we come into our lifetimes, we kind of know what lessons we're here to learn and what it is that we're going to experience to learn those lessons, and in particular, what people we're going to learn a lot of those lessons through. So you and this person actually signed a soul contract. So you and this person were definitely destined to meet. I feel like this connection was very purposeful for your it was and is very purposeful for your, this lifetime. I feel like it was a very important part of this lifetime for you. And that might actually be why when you first met this person, it felt like you were oh my gosh, dream come true kind of energy, because you and this person were very drawn to each other for a particular reason. And I feel like with the 2 of Wands in reverse, it feels like things have gotten very off course of those expectations that you had. And I feel like it's been really hard for you to figure out what to do or what this means or where to go from here. Because I do feel like things were so very promising in this, but then again, never really seeming to reach what it is that you were hoping to get out of this. The overall theme for the reading is trust. It says this situation is calling for you to have faith. So I feel as if Spirit is really asking you to trust however things play out in this connection, and to trust that they're actually working out for your highest good, especially with this contract card, like soul contract kind of energy, that sometimes, you know, our biggest lessons can come through our relationships, and in particular, the relationships that maybe hurt us or confuse us the most, or that we struggle with the most, because that's typically where we kind of have to meet ourselves on a really deep level. And that's, you know, meeting ourselves is how we grow. So I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty interesting reading so far, but that soul contract in particular, I feel like it's something that's really important for you to know, is that in particular, like, you and this person were absolutely supposed to meet, and this connection is very purposeful for you, like your life path in this lifetime. But let's see, Libra's side of the connection, dream come true with the 10 of Cups in reverse. What does Libra need to know about their energy toward the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now? All right, this is for Libra's side of the connection. Six of Pentacles in reverse. And there's that, and then Three of Pentacles in reverse. That is so many reverse cards. And then the 10 of Wands. Six of Pentacles in reverse with the Three of Pentacles in reverse. You know, this is very much this energy of no matter how much you've given to this connection, you cannot seem to get what it is that you are looking for in return. And with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, this is the energy for me of like the pieces never falling into place, like things never fully coming together, or like right when they do come together, it feels like they immediately fall apart. So just again, it's very much this energy of things feeling very out of reach in this connection. And I feel like there's this also, in addition, this energy of like, no matter what I do, I can't seem to make this work. I can't seem to get this person to commit, or to get this person to see my side, or whatever the case might be. And with this 10 of Wands, I feel like it started to become very heavy for you. I feel like you're starting to bear a lot of the burden of this connection, where you're like, well, do you even care? Like, is this even worth it? Should I continue to give? And I feel like a lot of that kind of stems from this frustration that you feel, understandably so, about how much you've given versus how much you've received. And, you know, one of the things that I've certainly learned about healthy versus unhealthy relationships is that healthy relationships are reciprocal. And I think that for a really long time, I didn't know how to have healthy reciprocal relationships, because I didn't know, I had never experienced them before. I had never understood what it was like to truly be in a partnership and to truly get to experience someone showing up with the exact same effort as I did. And I think that when we don't think that that's possible, we'll get into connections with people and we'll bear the majority of the burden of the connection, thinking that eventually, like, the other person's going to change, or, you know, they might step up, or whatever the case is. But then what's actually happening is there's this precedent that's almost being set, where it's like, you know, I'm willing to give way more than I receive. And it's almost like, even though you're not okay with that, I feel like that's kind of what the dynamic became here. Or like, I'm okay with the bare minimum, or I'm okay with the wishy-washiness, or whatever the case is, even though I feel like you're definitely not okay with it. Understandably so. You shouldn't be, or nor do you need to be. Libra side of this connection. The Chariot. Ooh, the Two of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Then you have this King of Cups. Could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but you absolutely do not have to be. Ooh, King of Cups and Queen of Cups. Chariot with the Two of Wands in reverse. Okay. Any progress that seems to be made in this connection, it feels like you make progress, but then you always end up right back where you started. It's like more than a cycle, though, because it feels like you're like, oh, we're finally moving forward, things are finally progressing, you know, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're right back, you know, right back to the beginning, or right back where we started. And I feel like that has been really hard for you, because when you're going through those periods of actually feeling progress and feeling like you're getting somewhere with this person, you're like, oh, okay, like this is it. Like this time things will be different. But then at the end of the day, I feel like it's like this repetition. And that's part of the soul contract. That repetition, that cycle is, because you're going to naturally be drawn to this connection because of the soul contract itself, but then also because you're going to recognize on like a soul level, you're going to recognize this person. You're going to recognize the purpose of this. So not only are you dealing with like the psychology behind getting into cycles with people, because, you know, our brain tends to prefer what it's used to, so it likes to stay in cycles because it knows exactly what that's going to feel like, even if those cycles aren't good for us, right? So in addition to like the psychology aspect of being kind of stuck in this cycle, there's also this like spiritual recognition that's going on here that's making it hard for you to break out of this, because I do feel like, again, that progress, it's like you start to see progress and you're like, oh, things are going to get better and this person's finally treating me better. And then it's like, I don't know if it's just like, it just feels like things fall flat, or it never evolves. It like never gets there. I don't know where there is, but like that dream come true, 10 of cups, like expectation kind of energy. It's like things might progress, but it's like it never evolves to what it is that really ultimately you deserve. But I can certainly see why anyone in your position would be stuck in like this kind of cycle with this person. Especially if there's like, you know, this feeling of like, I've never felt this way before and I've never experienced anything like this before. And, you know, a lot of times when we experience something like that, we believe that since it's as good as we've ever experienced, or since we've never felt that way before, that must mean that this is our only path to be able to experience the love that we've been looking for. And so we'll hold on to it regardless of the fact that it's not becoming what we want, because we think that like maybe eventually someday it will be that, and we hold on to that expectation, which can just kind of further that cycle. All right, Libra's side of this connection. And here's the King of Swords. So you could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but this also could be your energy. Hang on, I want to clarify this Three of Wands, because this is an energy of, usually it's like of stepping out of your comfort zone, but I feel this more as like waiting, a waiting energy. You're in this energy of waiting for things to change, waiting for things to get better, waiting for that day it finally becomes this dream come true kind of energy. Yeah. You're waiting, but because you have this Justice in reverse, so in the process of waiting, you are in a position where you are accepting way less than what it is that you deserve. So you're in a position of things not being very fair, but waiting for the day that they eventually do become what you feel it could become. You know, the potential of people is very tricky. And we have to remember that a lot of the time, the potential that we see in another person is merely a reflection of what we would do if we were in their shoes. And we have to remember that not everyone has the same heart as you. Not everyone has done the same amount of healing as you. Not everyone has the same amount of growth under their belt. And so sometimes, you know, we hold people to the expectation of like what we would do. And that leaves us trapped in believing that they're going to align their decisions in a way that we would align our decisions. But then when they don't make decisions that like we would make, or they do make decisions that we would never make, we take it very personally, because we go, this must have something to do with me. Because if I were to ever make that decision, if I were to ever treat someone like that, or if I were to ever do blah, 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 like I wouldn't value that person, or I wouldn't really care about that person. But again, you know, we cannot look at other people's decisions from a place of like what we would do in their shoes, because although putting ourselves in other people's shoes is important, like looking at things from a place of empathy, we have to remember that their thought process isn't going to be like yours. Their trauma isn't going to be like yours. Their, like I said, growth and healing might not be in the same place as yours. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, you have to be careful when you're waiting on somebody to change, because the more you wait on someone to change, the more you're waiting on them to become someone that they're not. And the more you're holding on to, because the more we hold on to potential, the more we're actually holding on to someone that doesn't exist. And, you know, that's why I feel like you have this trust card, is just trust that whether or not this connection comes together, whether or not this person finally chooses you, gets it together, whether or not this connection works out in the end, like, you will still be led to the love that you truly desire and deserve. So don't think that just because it doesn't happen with this person means that it can't happen for you. Like, I think that a lot of times, especially in the twin flame community, there's this idea that, oh, this person's my twin flame or they're my soulmate, and that means that if I don't end up with them, that I'm not going to be happy, or I'm not going to be experience the kind of love that I could experience if I were with them. And I think that that's a really, really unhealthy way of viewing things, because no single person holds the ability for you to be loved in the way that you want to be loved except for you. So keep in mind that if it's not this person, and I'm not saying it isn't, but if it isn't this person, there's someone better for you out there. You know, the universe only ever has 3 answers for us. It's yes, here you go. No, not right now, or there is something better. It's never just straight up, nope, you can't have that. Like, it's not the universe saying, nope, you can't have the love that you desire. It might be the universe saying, not right now, or there is something better for you. All right, this person's energy toward Libra. What does Libra need to know about it? Wild card with the 7 of Cups. Person's energy toward Libra. One more. Trapped. This is interesting. Here you are. Queen of Swords showing up in their energy. They feel, well, okay. I'm not saying they feel trapped. Like in a connection with you. But it's like they feel, okay, this is confusing, because they feel trapped in the experience of like not having what they want, but they're not facing it from like a clear mentality. Like, it's like there's a clear answer. Okay, hang on. I'm going to clarify this 8 of Swords in particular really quick. It's like there's a clear answer. The answer of what they should do is clear. But for some reason, they're like, nah. Clarifying this 8 of Swords. I want the card to flip all the way around, or there's the 7 of Cups. That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. You know, it's obvious, Libra, that you have so much love for this person, and you're like, I could treat you so well, like this could be so good. Like, technically, the answer of like what the best decision for them is very clear. Like, it's let Libra in, build a connection, right? Like, I feel like if you were just to be like at the basic level, that, but this person has these limiting beliefs about what's possible for them in love. Meaning that I feel like the kind of love that you have to give is something that this person doesn't actually believe exists, which is kind of crazy looking at it this way, because you're like, but I've been giving it. Like, I have it to give. I'm here. Like, it does exist because I have it. And I have this unconditional love, or, you know, whatever. Like, I would give it to them. But it's almost like they don't believe that it exists. So it's like the answer is clear, but then they're not making the decision that aligns with what's best for them. Now, then I feel like they turn around and they're like, but they feel like trapped in this experience of not having the love they're looking for, even though the love they're looking for, you have to provide. That's confusing as hell. Because I think that, especially with this wild card, this is definitely this energy of someone who hasn't ever experienced healthy love. And so, we tend to expect what it is that we've experienced, right? So it's hard for this person to believe that, like, you're genuine, because they feel like they're like, oh, that doesn't exist. I dealt with someone like that. I was in a relationship with someone like that a few years ago, like 5 years ago now, who they were like, everyone always has selfish intentions. Like, there's always ulterior motives. Nobody ever does anything out of selflessness. And it was wild being in this position of being like, I'm literally doing that right now, like being in this connection with you. Like, sure, there's always this intention of, well, I want to be loved too, but especially when you're in a connection where you're not getting what you want, but yet you continue to show up for the other person, it's like, I feel like this person is like, it's almost like this seems too good to be true for them. So it's like they choose not to believe that it's possible. And I feel like ultimately there's this fear underneath the surface that keeps them making decisions that like aren't really good for them in this connection, which is where I feel like that wishy-washy, indecisive energy comes from, which at the end of the day, sure, have empathy for people like that, right? Like, I think it's important to always have empathy for people, but also at the same time, remember that having empathy for someone and their experiences and their perception and where they're at, like, that isn't fair to you. Now, on the flip side, we always need to look at the mirror, right? So this person doesn't believe that the kind of love that they're looking for exists, so they won't let it in, right? You have a hard time believing that the kind of love that you desire exists, so you're looking for it in someone who continues not to give it to you. So there's mirrored limiting beliefs here, and I feel like that's part of what this soul contract really entails, is there's this deep mirror of like, this seems too good to be true. Like there's like you feel like this is a dream come true, but it's always out of reach, which furthers this belief that the love that you deserve isn't possible. This person feels like it isn't possible, so they push it away. This person's energy toward Libra. They don't think that they're good enough for you. Here. The Three of Cups with the Lovers in reverse. It's like they desire it, but they don't think that they're good enough for it, right? Because again, and maybe that's ultimately where the limiting beliefs come from, is it's like Libra wouldn't love me if they really knew me. Like if I let Libra in, they wouldn't really love me once they see who I really am. And I feel like you're like, I see who you really are, and I do still love you, or I do still care about you. I feel like this person has a pretty negative, like, sense of self. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean that they're not egotistical, because sometimes, people think like, oh, if someone's like narcissistic or egotistical, that means that they like love who they are. No, it means that they don't like who they are, so they create this persona, this ego, that they then try to fill because they don't actually like who they are underneath the surface. It's an absence of sense of self that is created, that pushes them to create a false sense of self. So I'm not saying this person isn't like outwardly kind of like cocky or anything like that. I'm not saying they are or they aren't. What I am saying is I feel like deep down, like they don't believe that they are deserving of the love that they're looking for. So even though I feel like you have so much to give them, it's almost as if they're like, but that would be wasted on me. And okay. I've dealt with people like this before. And I think that, sure, like you have this self-awareness where you're like, well, I'm not good enough for this person. But yet they continue to invest in the connection and keep you hanging on, right? Like you got to choose. You got to make a decision. And I feel like that's why this person is like, well, I want, Libra in my life, but I don't want to commit because, I don't think that I'm good enough for Libra, but I don't want to lose them. And that's not fair. This person not knowing what the hell they want and not fully committing to the experience of being with you is not fair to you. And I think that that's where you have to understand that their inability to make a decision, like them not choosing you, them not showing up for this connection, it doesn't have anything to do with you and everything to do with where they're at. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do about that. So looking at things from this bigger perspective and say, so what is this showing me? What is this? Because this person not feeling good enough for love causes them to not, make the decision to choose you, to invest in this connection, to commit to it, which then makes you feel not good enough for love because you start to feel not good enough for this person because you're going, well, why won't they choose me? Which, then causes you to maybe invest a little bit more, to try a little bit harder. And then this person pushes you even away. And it's just this vicious freaking cycle. And it feels like things are improving sometimes because I feel like whenever this person, kind of opens up to the idea of like, okay, well, what if this works? It's like things improve, but then they get spooked in some way, shape, or form. This feeling of undeservingness comes out and then they act from that place. And I feel like that's why they have this wild card energy, is you genuinely don't know what you're going to get from them because who knows how the hell they're going to wake up that day. Are they going to wake up, finally being willing to face these feelings of being undeserving of love, or are they going to allow those feelings to run the show? I don't think they're a bad person. I think that they're a little bit lost, and I think that they're pulling you into that. And that right there is not fair to you. People, you're not deserving of being caught in the middle of somebody else's kind of internal war. This person's energy toward Libra. But the soul contract, I feel like, is what has made it so hard for you, because you do feel, I feel like, a deep spiritual connection to this person, and you are absolutely deeply spiritually connected to this person, but the purpose might not end up being you and this person end up together. Now, I don't want that to scare anyone, because that doesn't mean that you can't have the love that you deserve. It literally just means that this person, because you each have your own individual lessons that this soul contract is here to help you learn, right? They might not choose the path of learning what they need to, of healing these deeper wounds, of facing these things, these feelings of being undeserving and unlovable, and, the limiting beliefs that keep them stuck in pushing this connection away or not making the right decision for them. And for you at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that they will do those things. So what's in your control is figuring out how you can show up. If someone's not choosing you, that is a reflection of you not choosing yourself. If someone's not showing up for you, that's a reflection of you not showing up for yourself. So looking at what this person is doing and trying to look at this as, what is this connection trying to teach me in this moment, so that I can move forward in a way that leads me to the love that I'm ultimately deserving of. Because if you see the potential of it in this person, that means that it exists for you out there. It just might not be in this connection, and I'm not saying that it isn't, but remember, trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. This person has 5 of Swords with the Tower here. So I feel like this person is pretty defensive, very they don't trust anyone. They don't trust anyone. They don't let too many people in, and then not just you. I feel like they don't really let anyone in, actually. Because again, they have this feeling of if you really knew who I was, or if I let you in, you wouldn't like me. You wouldn't love me. So, and I feel like you're I would, but you won't let me in, so how will I ever know, right? But again, that's, focusing on what you can't control, which is them and the decisions that they make. So with this 5 of Swords in the Tower, I feel like their defensiveness, their lack of trust, their lack of believing that other people have good intentions, it's very cynical. This is a very cynical energy. And I feel like this cynicism that this person has causes them to project a lot. And they project kind of their own, limiting beliefs onto you, onto other connections. And they're there's no way that Libra could actually love me because, well, I've never actually experienced anyone loving me unconditionally before. So it certainly isn't, it certainly is not going to start now. Now, you might have these same exact thoughts, right? I always encourage people, or I try to remember to encourage people, that in these readings that there might be things about you that you can take from both sides, because again, our relationships with other people are a direct reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So there might be some messages for you coming through on their side too that Spirit is bringing forth in this reading. But in between this connection, you have a contract with the Two of Wands in reverse. We are going to hop on over to the extended. I am going to pull messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. Thank you so much, Libra, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Libra, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Libra.